So if you want to move to England and teach here because you think you'll have students that are gentle, kind and pleasant people, you are sorely mistaken. The fact that extreme disruptions and struggles that occurred daily in England disappeared the moment I left England is extremely apparent. Honest and polite English people do exist, but for every well-behaved student who is polite and honest, I can show you 50 that aren't. It took me 3 years teaching in England and 5 years teaching outside of England to establish this bulletproof observation that it's only the English, that there is something very different about these people. In my experience, dealing with English people has been 90% negative and 10% positive or neutral. Now, with all that said, let's start with easily the most dominant trait I think English people possess, especially compared to other races. They're dishonest. English people will lie pathologically as their default. You might as well call them the I didn't do nothing people.
Max, empty your mouth.
I'm not sure.
Really?
I'm going to get the blame for something I've not done.
How are you going to get the blame for it?
Because that's what people do me. It's like I used to.
What?
I used to blame it on other people.
It has been brought to our attention, right, by a member of staff about some activity you've had on websites over the weekend.
Tinder.
Yeah. You've obviously made a profile of yourself. So you're posing on there as what?
18.
Oh, I think it's 19.
Is it 19?
Mm-hmm.
Get it took off now, Mitchell. I mean, get it off.
Right, take it off there now, right, while you're here. And then I can put that in the drawer. Mitchell.
I've just deleted the app.
The mobile phone that you had to give in, is that your real mobile phone?
How do you know?
Foolish I may be, but I actually trust you.
Have you told me Shark? Please don't tell her.
He thinks that you said, anyway, if I'm a slag, what's your mum?
No.
Did you make any reference to his mum at all?
I didn't.
I'm just asking questions.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Fucking, I've gone over to him, right? Because, what you call me a slag for? So he's fucking, he stood up, yeah, because I said your mum was slag. But I've said that, I didn't say that. He stood up, he's gone for me.
Right, in there, you're both going to have to go home.
Why? Why?
Because you refuse to hand over like...
Why do you think I'd be so cross with you?
Because I don't.
What did you do?
Play with lighters.
Right.
Follow inside here, please, now. Inside.
I'm not going
Yeah. Pardon?
I'm not going on for nothing.
Well, you have to.
It's period 3.
I haven't done anything.
Florian, Linda's brother, has been involved in an incident in French.
What's he done? Florian got a lighter out of Miriam's class and attempted to light the carpet.
That what Mel said that.
Sir, it's actually really bad because I'm getting done, so I ain't even done.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
Just wait there. No, you're not. You can come in here and make this point. I'm very sorry. Georgia would like to complain to you.
It's disgusting what's happened.
Refusing to go into isolation.
Well, you need to go into isolation, Georgia.
I'm not. Something I haven't done.
You'll be excluded then, sorry.
Well, I haven't done anything.
Right, come outside then, Georgia.
I'm sick of it. Proper sick of it.
It's the rumours that somebody said something. 9 times out of 10, it actually didn't happen. It's just somebody else trying to stir something up.
Put your tie on.
It's tight on my neck. It's strangling.
Right, well then give me your planner, because I'm not having this argument with you this morning. I'll have your planner. Did you tell me to shut up then? Right, outside. Out.
Oh my God.
Oh, just the person. Before you go, Georgia has refused to put a tie on several times and has told me to shut up.
I wasn't talking to you, what I?
Josh, eat the fibre again.
He's eating his fibre.
I'm not.
Year 10 Jack has snuck into a teacher's office.
Hello?
Guess who this is?
Who is it?
It's Mrs. Oakley.
Jack, what do you want?
I need to ring my mum, sir. Quite urgent.
I would say upwards of 95 to 99% of all the lies ever told to me were by English people in the short 6% of my life I've spent teaching public school in England. In Australia, I'd get lied to maybe once bi-monthly or so by students. It was an occurrence, but always over something trivial. Overall, very chill and honest people. In New Zealand, lying was so rare that I still remember the only time lying was a misbehaviour. The student in year 12 said he went to the front office to sign in that he was late at class, which is what you were meant to do. But he didn't, he lied. When the school found out, it was a big deal. I still remember it vividly. It was a Thursday period 3. So, in New Zealand, they'd lied to me maybe once every 6 months or so. Overall, very honest people. In Abu Dhabi, they're a little less honest. I'd have to deal with lying as a misbehaviour probably once every week or 2. But again, over trivial things to avoid getting in trouble at home, because their Middle Eastern parents will beat the life out of them if they get in trouble. So a survival mechanism to lie. Understandable, but overall relatively honest. In England, on the other hand, it's a minimum of like 10 to 15 overt, shameless lies every lesson. Overall, I am convinced they are incapable of telling the truth. They lie so often you can't believe a word they say. They'll confront you as if you're their equal, irrespective of your status in the school or how underwhelming they are. They deflect, negotiate and debate everything, all while looking for loopholes to weave through like snakes.
You've just behaved in a rather challenging, intimidatory, threatening manner.
How? Because you're having a go at me. Then what's the point of me staying around here?
Shut the door. Why? Because nobody else is allowed out there, neither are you. Move away from the door.
I'm only putting my head out for somebody. Is it illegal?
Caden, bag on the floor, please. Caden, your bag is still on your back. Get it on the floor now. Caden, bag on the floor. I've already asked you. On the floor. No, on the floor, otherwise I'm going to have to remove you. Simple as that. On the floor. Right, date and title on everyone, please. What kind of programme?
Like that.
One more and I'll ask you to leave the lesson.
You just told me to put my bag on the shelf.
You're interrupting me and you're shouting out of turn. That behaviour's not... Right, outside.
Emily, inside
I'm
your
coming.
lesson.
Stop screaming at me. Bloody hell.
Tom, give him back.
Right, I can see if you want. I'll see there.
Tom, give him back.
No, you're not allowed no piercings at all. I don't see what's the point of not having no piercings because it's not going to affect no learning at the end of the day.
You see this? You see, look at my fingers. You see this? All right, now look at me.
Already look.
No, I want you to look at me. Keep looking at me. Look at me.
Whoa.
This was how much patience I had for you on Monday. And this is about now, okay?
Do you know what I hate? When teachers tells me what to do.
I need to speak to you now.
I was swearing at Jamie.
I don't care. You don't
I've already
swear.
been in isolation. Why don't you
I
stick me in
don't.
again?
Listen to me. You swear there's no place like that in school. Do you understand that?
There's loads of people. Oh my
I
God.
don't care. Not in my class. Not in this school. Outside, you can do anything you want.
I've already been in isolation once. You ain't sticking me in again.
Well, then don't swear. I had a girl, right, coming into class. I gave her the work, and she said, "What is this?"
Which girl?
Emily. I mean, how rude. Disgusting language. How can you not see that? You come into class, I give you the work, and you come up with the language. It's disgusting.
Jamie said something, so
I told to Mr. Ennis he was disgusted.
Oh my God, okay.
Stop being rude and come to work. That's all you got to do. That's why you come to school. Not to swear, to sit down and do some work. Now you need to go to isolation, or you need to go, then you need to go home.
Not in class. There's a time and a place.
The bell's gone.
You didn't stay for your detention. You did
I
what?
won't get why I've got detention though.
This has been pushed as far as it can go at the moment.
Send me away. Full of people.
Have some manners. You shouldn't be in reception right now. So can you please move away and come back later?
Why should I do what you
Because
say?
I've asked you to, please.
Well, he's not going to let me do it, is he, anyway? So, and I ain't staying in here for 3 lessons. Why 3?
His choice, not mine.
Yeah, why 3? He's just an idiot. He should have done it at the start of he should have done it this morning, not now.
What are you doing up here?
Going home.
Going home. You're in isolation tomorrow because you're deciding to go home.
Okay.
I'll phone Mum now, don't worry. You are not coming in, disrupting lessons.
How am I
getting
disrupting
packed.
lessons?
3 lessons.
What temperature does the heating process? You have to be able to do this on your own. I can't hydrogen molecules have more energy. Yes or no?
Place the cigarettes on my desk.
This ain't even my jacket either.
Okay, cigarettes on the desk. Cigarettes on the desk.
This is my sister's coat.
Okay, you will be punished for possessing them. However, if you refuse to hand them over, then you will be punished further.
Have my sister's phone. If I get in trouble, I'm having a go at you for it. Long said.
Somebody's getting sore.
Say sorry.
No. You need to move on to that table. Listen, you move now or I will ring on call.
Why? Because I won't move because he hit me.
Yes, because you hit him as well.
Okay, stop.
No, why is it right for you to do that?
Stop, because you are 15 or 16 years old, I am 38 years old, and I'm a deputy head teacher, and you're a student.
So that's a law. Because you're older, you're allowed to speak whenever you want, and I'm not.
Yes.
Right, look, anyway, I'm talking here, so...
No, you will talk when I tell you you can.
No,
At the moment, you won't.
I'm not a dog. You're not telling me when I do things.
Okay, would you like to carry on attending this school in order to get an education?
Obviously.
Then start treating people with the respect they're entitled to receive.
Where
are you going? Hey!
Well, are you going in there with him?
You're going in there over there, but I'll throw you in front of everyone. Get over there now. So I moved you to calm me down, then you don't get any trouble.
Well, she's telling all the year 11s she's going to ban me, so obviously they're coming up to me and telling me, and obviously I'm going to go mad.
Stay in your seat or I will park you, because it's getting silly now. You're distracting other people.
I don't know.
I have got a colleague here who is basically telling me that next time he's on call, he is wondering whether or not to do it. Because you are basically so utterly contemptuous of this school's attempts to manage and control discipline that you stop him from doing his job.
That's a lie, I'm talking now.
OK, conversation's over. Go and stay outside Mr Gollard's office now. Are you ready?
Yeah.
OK, I'll explain it to you.
No, because he didn't say I had a break detention.
Stop.
No, because he didn't say I had a break
Stop.
detention, so why should I do
Stop.
detention when I shouldn't even have one?
Stop.
No, because I'm right.
Stop.
Oh my God.
Stop. Thank you. Or you will decide to do the right thing. There is no more need for us to have a conversation.
Yeah, there is.
Go and sit down.
No,
Go and sit down.
Because why should I do another 10 minutes? Which
Go
I
and
don't
sit
have
down.
To do?
Go and sit down.
No.
Go and sit down.
No, you get to talk to her, can't I?
Go and sit down.
You, because what happened was this whole thing happened, what I didn't even know nothing about, because Ashley Kramer's been going around saying that Samantha's brother smells of mud. But anyway, Shab never even stole no car, so Shab.
And they'll even coordinate their lies. So one student will lie, and then automatically their friends swoop in to support their lie. In other words, they gaslight you constantly, reframing, rewriting, and reorganizing events to try and convince you that they're innocent and being victimized, and that you're the dishonest person persecuting them. Case in point, teacher sacked and arrested after girls made up sex claims for fun gets payout. A male teacher at an all-girls grammar school has been awarded £45,000 after he was sacked over sex assault claims people later said had been made up for fun. The tribunal, held remotely at Bristol, heard a student wrote a statement to her tutor that another girl, identified only as student H, had said Mr. Hawker had touched her leg. Ruth Morgan, the head of safeguarding, spoke to student H, who said that during a lesson Mr. Hawker had knelt down next to her and put his hand on her thigh, the tribunal heard. In further discussions with other pupils, Miss Morgan heard of a similar incident described by students, as well as false rumours Mr. Hawker had previously been suspended for touching a Year 9 student and had an affair with a sixth former. One girl, student D, reported that Mr. Hawker had made her feel very uncomfortable by massaging my shoulders and stroking my arms. She said she had seen Mr. Hawker stroking other girls' thighs, and that other girls, student G and student F, had said that happened to them. The teacher was also accused of winking at girls, the panel was told. However, in July, 2 girls from the year above said they had been stood with the group of accusers when they admitted they tried to get Mr. Hawker fired for fun, the hearing was told. Mr. Hawker was arrested in September 2021 after 2 of the original group agreed to police involvement, the hearing was told. Nothing is sacred to them. So they decide to fire a teacher at a fancy all-girls grammar school by spinning a web of false allegations of this guy inappropriately touching a student. They see it be escalated to the safeguarding lead, but the false witnesses and victims continue to lie. They see it escalate further to the point they're asked if they want to get the police involved, and they say yes. They always escalate the situation.
I'm not going down this road again.
Well, I am.
I want your phone.
You ain't having my phone.
Charlotte, I'm not going to go through this again.
But you ain't having my phone. If you
had
want
it
my phone,
out.
I'm going. Who do you think he is? I can't even... Who are you looking at? Oh, God.
Jeb.
Shush.
Jeb.
No.
Jeb, allow me to speak.
No. Not to me. You can speak, just not to me.
first thing Jodie did when she walked into Relda's cover lesson today was try and get a phone out and put some music on. Relda said, no, you're not allowed to do that. So-and-so lets us do it. So-and-so says it's all right for us to do it. Why won't you? Oh, get out of my face, you know. And...
Right, put your hand up. Tell me why it would not snow in the rainforest.
Element coming down.
Wait.
Why do you never let us speak? Why are you staring at me? Caitlin,
do I need to send you outside? Just calm yourself down. Caitlin, Sydney.
You seriously called me a
Sydney.
scat. That's proper angry and I ain't no scat.
Right, do you know what? I'm trying to do a lesson.
Yeah,
You're
but he's
disrupting it
calling
already.
me a scat.
Do not say a word.
Why are you looking at me?
So, what are we going to do?
He's not coming out. You can exclude me, put me in intervention, do what you want.
No, I don't want to do that.
It's my decision and it was my hair, so.
If, by any miraculous chance, you suddenly softened and changed your mind...
Yes, that's not going to happen.
But do let me know, because it will save me a job bringing your dad.
Right, if you're not back in this classroom in 10 seconds, I'm going to get on call. OK?
One of the teaching staff is always on call throughout the day to deal with students removed from lessons.
You've got 5 seconds to leave that outside and come in here, or you're not coming in. OK, 3 seconds. You're not coming in. You get on call.
Right. Vin?
No. Why are you talking to him?
Vin, get me a tissue, please.
Charlotte.
There's flipping water all over this computer.
Okay, now you need to go outside.
Oh.
Calm yourself down.
Oh. No, it was pathetic.
She doesn't want to do the work. That's exactly what it is.
It's just joining Vinny, isn't she?
Yeah.
Okay, listen. Patrick, because I've got a trip today. After school, so yes.
Take a breath.
No.
This is not going to go anywhere apart from you digging yourself further and further into a hole.
Well,
okay?
I guess that's what it looked like.
You've got 3 marks because you only answered 2 questions.
I don't care about the marks.
Well, I do.
So it's over now, so I don't need to win no more. I don't care.
That was your best paper.
I don't care about the stupid marks.
Well,
I've done.
You do care about
Well, I don't care, otherwise.
In your real GCSE?
I won't work.
You will
Oh, I won't work.
You will
You taking a minute?
You're making this even worse for yourself, okay?
I don't care.
Okay, I'm not going to have any choice, Jeb.
Don't have any choice.
But to exclude you now.
Exclude me.
Okay?
Exclude me.
You're about to do your exams. In April, May, you're doing proper GCSEs. And Kim, if you pull this, you're going to get your GCSE paper ripped up.
Good.
No, but you don't think that's good. Remember, I've worked with you for 5 years. I'm not letting you give up on your GCSEs.
Why?
Because I care too much.
Dean Horton's gone and got mouthy to me again. He's got his mum down here. If she goes mental at me, I'm actually going to put her on her arse. I ain't scared of nothing nowadays.
You're scared to know. What's your name?
Why? What's it to you?
Is your name Sam?
Maybe, maybe not.
Jesus Christ, man, you got bad attitude. Don't talk to me like that. Do you know who I am?
No?
No? Well, you should know who I am. I'm Dean's sister. You mess with Dean and you mess with me, yeah? So why don't you just turn around and walk back that way before I get you and your little friends, yeah? Now jog on. Go on, run along. Go on. Run. Go on, see ya.
Like I'm scared of you.
Yeah, well, you will be, I tell you. You really will be. Helen, don't talk to me like that. Like I said, you don't know who I am.
You don't know who I am?
Well, I know who you are. You're the one who keeps picking on my brother. Come down here to...
Excuse me, he's the one who keeps threatening to kill me. What do you think I'm going to do?
Jeb, I need to talk to you outside.
I'm not coming.
I'm not having this conversation in front of
I'm
everyone.
not chucking out the school. I don't care.
I need you to make the right decision. I need you to come out with me.
I'm not coming out. Because I'm not scared of being chucked out or excluded or anything.
Okay.
Don't give a crap.
This is
just leave me alone.
This is something
Leave
you...
me alone. I'm not coming out. It's
You
too
need
bad.
to step out.
You can't make me.
No, I know I can't make
no
you.
one can force me to.
You said next time you see me, you're going to bend me to go on. I'd like to see you try. Why are you staring at me?
It's break time, and there's an incident involving Caitlin and another student.
Sir, you either start around now before you absolutely smash your little head in. Saying you're going to ban me at dinner, why don't you do it now? Go on. Oh, she's hanging.
I'm waiting there now.
No one's arguing with you. We all like to work here. We just can't function when you communicate with us like this. Right.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Because I was thinking maybe a little bit more like, Brad, 7 seconds, I'm grabbing you by the collar, your face is in the deep fryer. What? Pete, 2 seconds, I pull out your eyes, and you're going in the garbage. Why? Jordan, 20 seconds, I'm over there, I'm gonna rip out your jaw.
What a second.
20 seconds, and you're all gone. This is beyond a threat. It's a promise. Hey, what's going on? I don't know. I have a problem. I don't know how to control it. You guys are my only friends. I'm sorry.
You tell off a student without an attached consequence, and they'll scream and cry and be outraged because I was talking about the work, wasn't I? Oh my days, why is it always me? Why didn't you tell off so-and-so? It's not fair.
Well, you're definitely in isolation.
So why ain't she there?
That's what definitely.
I need to get my bag.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Wait, I'm in school.
I am going to have to put you into departmental parking,
What, and have a detention after school?
and you'll have a detention.
For God's sake. Yeah, but the fact
You
is
get 3
everyone
warnings.
swears. Everyone swears.
I'm going to ask you one more time. 3 questions.
Getting moaned at in every lesson.
I'm not moaning at you, I just...
Can't go in one lesson without moaning at me about something else.
Tom, take your stuff and go sit in Miss Finley's room, please.
Why?
Because I said so.
Before I'm doing the work.
Take your stuff and go in Miss Finley's room, please.
You do care!
Come on, you downstairs.
Why did I have to go back in?
I know, and you know, that you swore at least 3 times.
I swore once when you told me to stop.
Until you're going to be ready to apologise to me.
Apologise for what?
Like
Apologise for
you have
what?
been.
I'm talking
Like
like this because you're sending me out amongst everyone else.
I'm not going to have you up in my lesson until you are willing
I
to...
don't care, you just put me in a bad mood for no reason. I'm fed up with your stuff all the time. It's always me. It's always me.
Listen, we're not going to talk about it now because I really have to...
So why are you still talking?
And if you even quote what they said back to them, their default reaction is to gaslight and lie to you because they're English.
Yesterday he started mathing off.
And you haven't been making any personal comments about Dean whatsoever.
No.
You seem to delay your answer to that one, Sam.
He's been accused me of making comments.
And what comments is he accusing you of making?
Apparently I've been calling him Fatty Fat Boom Boom when I've actually been singing Chick Chick Bam Bam and We Love You because I was watching the movie night before that.
Fat boy. Fatty fatty boom boom.
So with everything I say, he's been turning it and twisting it.
Right. So you're absolutely going to tell me you have not said anything which he could interpret as being personally abusive?
No.
I can't have you calling me names, Luke.
What did I call you now?
Can't have you calling me names.
What did I call you?
Excuse me, don't shout me.
What did I call you a name?
As you left the room, you called me a name under your breath.
Oh, did I? Yeah? Why don't you hear me then?
Ian, why aren't you logged on? Okay, you know as well as I know, Mrs. Goddard is very, very fair.
No,
Yeah,
she
okay.
ain't. Apparently I called her a name in there.
I don't think I could have been more reasonable, Luke. Can you see where Mrs. coming from?
Mm.
And I don't think I deserve the names.
What did I call you?
Okay.
Tell me what I called you.
Under your breath as you left. And a comment about me when I was...
What did I say there then?
Attitude is appalling.
Yeah, all right, clap at it then.
Pardon?
Clap at it then.
I don't know, it's on the referral form, I'll have to check.
Can I go, please?
Yeah.
Don't want to, miss, I don't want to talk to you.
I'm...
I don't want to... Miss, can I go, please?
Oh, come and see me, or see Miss. Period 5. Off you go. Luke.
What on earth happened down there? One of the stills...
Nothing, Marge. I think it must have been that bean I had for dinner.
They use their lies to blame and gaslight the teacher as to why they don't do the work every lesson. I'm thinking about the answer. I was going to write it, but you took my book. But you changed the slide. But you asked me to step outside. All this to explain why they haven't written anything in the last 30 minutes. And here's the weirdest part. They believe their own lies with all their heart. I'm telling you, English people are the most dishonest people I've ever interacted with. And, turns out, the most dishonest people in the world. An article from The Independent titled, Britons Own Up to Being the World's Most Dishonest People references a study where they quiz consumers in Europe, America, and the Far East about their views on dishonest behavior and discovered that British consumers have the worst attitude of all. The idea of taking towels from hotel bedrooms was particularly popular, and 40% said it was all right to change the price tags on shopping items. Those questioned were given 11 scenarios and asked to indicate the strength of their approval or disapproval. These included drinking a can of drink in a supermarket and not buying it, reporting a lost item as stolen to an insurance company to collect the money, changing price tags at stores, using an employer's telephone to make private calls, not saying anything when charged too little in a restaurant, taking towels from hotels, and renting a double-bed hotel room and using it for more than 2 people. The majority of British consumers said it was okay to cheat in 8 out of the 11 scenarios. We make great statements about our moral superiority, especially compared with wicked, rapacious Americans, says the researchers. Yet when it comes to basic ethics, making a clear distinction between right and wrong, we fall well behind standards in the USA. Not surprised. Inadvertently, this also reveals that British people steal the most too, which I can attest to, but more on that later. The thing I want you to focus on is that this article is 19 years old. You ask anyone in England, was England more honest and ethical 19 years ago? And you'll almost certainly get 100% of people saying, yes, 19 years ago, England was much more honest and ethical than today. And they were the worst then. What do you think it's like now? There is nothing an English kid could say that would make me believe them. I've seen them cry and scream, swear on their mothers, provide multiple supposed eyewitnesses, and have breakdowns trying to convince and plead with me that they didn't do something that I, more often than not, literally made eye contact with them as they did it. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2 instances of this. This dramatic display of dishonesty was pretty much a daily event. I've taught English students to put their phones away while I'm standing right next to them, looking right at their phone on Instagram or playing a game or something, and they tell me with full conviction while putting their phone away, I was on my phone, I don't even have a phone. Grace, do I have a phone? No, her mum took it away because she got ground, didn't she? Yeah, because I came back too late on the weekend, didn't I? Sir, why are you lying about me and saying I'm on my phone? Yeah, so that's out of order. They revel in lying like it's the best thing to happen. The only thing I've ever seen English people be consistently honest at are games. I used to play a lot of games in my geography class, Kahoot, Block It, Grudge Ball, Jeopardy, you name it. During those games, those dishonest English kids were very honest. They played fair, by the rules, and passionately. So in the earlier study I referenced that determined that Britons were the most dishonest people in the world using real-world practical examples of dishonesty, like stealing and fraud, was reassessed 12 years later, but using a game to measure honesty, the results were different. An article from The Independent titled, British people most honest in the world and have UK politicians to thank references a study where some 2,500 young people from a number of countries around the world were asked to roll a dice in private and then claim a cash prize based on the number, the Daily Telegraph reported. However, they were secretly filmed so researchers from Nottingham University could test how honest they were about their score. According to a paper published in Nature, British people were the most honest just ahead of Swedes, Germans, Lithuanians, and Italians. The least honest people, according to this test, were from Tanzania, Morocco, China, Vietnam, and Colombia. So to be fair, when it comes to games, English people are very honest. If you've ever seen them watch or play football, they'll be vigilant, they'll follow all the rules fairly, and they play honestly. That is true. But outside of that very specific and trivial bubble, they're the most dishonest people in the world. Make with that what you may. But this constant dishonesty, gaslighting, and changing the narrative to avoid telling the truth shouldn't be a surprise. According to research by the Policy Institute at King's College London that reveals how UK parenting priorities compare to other nations, they found that the UK is among the least likely to value obedience in children. And only Nigeria is less likely than the UK to consider it crucial for children to have a feeling of responsibility. And the UK is the only Western country in the study where less than half the population hold this view. I guess English parents don't think raising disobedient and irresponsible children is going to backfire on them.
If you raise your children, then you can spoil your grandchildren. But if you spoil your children, you're going to have to raise your grandchildren.
Now, excuse the fact that the United Kingdom is the 15th most developed country according to the Human Development Index, and Nigeria is 161st. But based on this stat, I would expect that English kids would be unlikely to say, you know what, I said that inappropriate thing, I should own up, apologize and make amends. Or, I disrupted everyone's learning, I should accept the consequences. Or just generally owning up to their misbehavior. And surprise, they don't. I've been told to shut up, F off, and other disgraceful behavior, and told by the school every time the kids don't apologize, so don't wait for it. And why should they? Ask them and they'll tell you, I didn't do it, you never saw me do it, you can't prove I did it, and even if you can prove it, I still didn't do it, so like, whatever.
Knew, because what happened was I was going around cars, but then this whole thing happened because Shelley told her anyway. I've been completely going around saying that Destiny stole money out of Rochelle's purse, but I ain't not even spoken to Rochelle because she flicked Ash Michaela's hair.
You won't believe how accurate a depiction that is. Side note, in my opinion, the 3 movies that most accurately showcase what the English are like are The Brother Grimsby, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and Back to Black. These will make you laugh, and this will give you PTSD if you've ever taught in England. Now, in a moment, I'm going to show you a clip of an English kid falsely accusing the school deputy, Mr. Drew, of inappropriately touching her. The school takes the accusation seriously and checks the CCTV footage. Look at her response and notice the inability to accept responsibility, to tell the truth, and to not gaslight the head teacher in the face of irrefutable evidence.
Take it off before we come any further, because I know that it has been a source of great conflict over the last few days. So we'd like to start the day, wouldn't we, Carmelita, without conflict? Yes? Right. Shall we start with conflict? No, exactly. So let's not start with conflict. Good. You may have it at break time. Thank you. No, you may have it at break time. Right, then we shall start the day by walking around the school together. No, I won't go away. Oh dear, now you're excluded.
The penalty for swearing at a teacher is a 1-day exclusion.
So, yes. Okay, your choice.
Hi, it's Russell King, Assistant Head of Pastoral. Basically, I'm calling on behalf of Mr. Drew. This then kind of turned into a protracted period of Mr. Drew following her around. Eventually, she just told Mr. Drew to piss off. Mr. Drew, she's just told her mum that you pulled her by her shoulder.
She can say whatever she wishes to say. At no point whatsoever were I within 2 metres of her.
Mr. Drew, I just relayed that to Mr. Drew as well, and he said that at no point was he within even 2 metres of her, so he categorically denies that accusation. I'm sorry, are you accusing me of that, please? Right, that's the end of this conversation. Goodbye. That's horrifically rude. I absolutely refuse to have anything to do with that woman. She accused me of licking your backside.
Tell me what's happened today.
I walked in
Yeah.
and then he was just like, kept on coming near me, so saying, I'll take your place. I was like, no, I don't want you to. And he just kept on carrying on speaking. I was just like touching my shoulder and that, like trying to bring me back to get my jacket. I was like, get off.
Where did that happen?
Outside toilets.
I'm asking you what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. Have I got member staff that's a danger to young people who can't control himself? In which case I'd need to suspend him, wouldn't I?
Yeah, I turned round and he's just like put his arm out. I was like, what are you doing? I was just like,
Well, no, so I've got his arm out or grabbed you or made contact. I can't. You need to give me exactly what happened, because obviously I've got a camera there which will see it quite clearly, and a camera at the far end that will see it quite clearly.
and then I turned round and he's got his arm out and he went like that. He was just like swiped it down and I went, sir, what are you doing?
So he did or he didn't make contact?
Yeah, he went like that.
Right.
And then I was just like, sir, what are you doing? And he goes, you need to give me your jacket back now. And I was just like, and I just pissed off and then I walked away.
Hiya, mate. Can I review something on the CCTV camera? Right hand screen. Remains a couple of metres away. No contact at all. It's not that I don't believe you. I can't believe you because it's not true. It's quite simple. Photographic evidence. We can go to court if we need to. Hi, it's Mr. Goddard. Mr. Drew wasn't within arm's reach of her at any time. No problem. I took her seriously, and please ask her. I took her seriously. I take all accusations like that seriously. I've looked at the camera. I've looked at the cameras all the way around. Followed it around. There was no contact at all. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye. Bye.
Why was I lying about someone touching me?
There was no contact, Carmelita. He hasn't assaulted you in any way. You made a false accusation against a member of staff. Well, that's what your mum. Well, that's what your mum said. Because if you make accusations against staff, their futures are on the line. Their mortgages, their houses, their families. And I don't accept that that can ever happen. And I'm disgusted. You try and ruin somebody's life by doing that, Carmelita. It's not good enough. Go home. Don't want to see you till January.
So I'm not coming back for this.
That's exactly what I just said.
Still, no apology. And what do you expect? I didn't do it. You never saw me do it. You can't prove I did. And even if you can prove it, I still didn't do it. So like, whatever, they're always looking for a scapegoat. And they'll lie through their teeth to avoid facing the worst nightmare of the English person. The truth.
Oh, blooming hell, holy moly, oh my goodness, oh my day, what all is it? Oh, I can't believe it's Tuesday, isn't it?
You know, a small part of me wants you to move to England and teach, even for just a term, just to see how dishonest and incapable of telling the truth the English are. It's actually amazing. But thankfully for both of us, you never have to move to England to teach to see how dishonest they are. Just watch the educating show from start to finish. Then, once you're done, remind yourself that these clips are up to 13 years old. And everyone agrees that England and English people have become more dishonest, rude, violent, and unpleasant since then, and especially in schools. You're seeing them at their best in these clips. Don't forget that. They're much worse now. In my experience as a geography teacher in the UK, lying is more quintessentially British than tea and biscuits. And what a shame. I imagined England was full of polite, kind, sophisticated, and peaceful diplomatic people. Instead, I saw this.
Your Majesties, William and I have been walking on air. It's all so brilliant and exciting.
Shut up.
What?
I said shut your mouth.
What do you want?
I bet I can kick your ass, you geezer.
All right, let's go then. Come on.
But my mistake was not being a student of history, because I should have known that the British, from a country smaller than New Zealand, were able to conquer a quarter of the Earth's surface.
Back across the Atlantic they go, and this time they claim Canada and the Caribbean, and most importantly, the east coast of America. Captain Cook discovers Australia. So Britain says, we'll have that, and also decides they would also like a bit of Asia over here. Yes, you see, there's a British business in Asia called the East India Company, which trades in things like tea and biscuits. Yummy. Britain wins the Napoleonic Wars against the French Empire, and they nab more countries off of them. But wait a minute, it seems the Indian people don't like being ruled by a tea company, and who can blame them? They decide to rebel. The British Army, however, crushes the rebellion, and Queen Victoria takes over the country as Indian Empress. It seems that the Dutch won't share South Africa. Naughty, naughty. So Britain has a couple of wars down there, the Boer Wars, and gobbles up a few more countries along the way. In fact, by the time World War I breaks out, a third of all Africans are ruled by the British. And what's Britain's prize for winning the war? A load more countries, of course. I mean, just look at it all. A third of the planet run by one tiny island.
The country forever in the Guinness Book of World Records for being responsible for the most Independence Days. Most countries to have gained independence from the same country. Before 1914, the UK exercised authority over 1/5 of the world's entire population, with the British Empire made up of 88 million subjects. Since then, a total of 62 countries have gained independence from the United Kingdom. A quarter of the Earth, 1/5 of the world's population. And you think they achieved that with kindness, diplomacy, and compassion? No, they did it with an iron hand. I'll give you an example from one of these 62 countries that suffered under the brutal and uncompromising rule of the British. India. I'll do so by recommending 2 videos that I strongly recommend you watch. The Unmaking of India, How the British Impoverished the World's Richest Country, and an Oxford Union Society talk by Dr. Shashni Tharoor titled Dr. Shashni Tharoor, Britain Does Owe Reparations. And before you have a fit, he doesn't think Britain should pay reparations, but that since Britain destroyed the prosperity of India, Britain should accept that they have the responsibility to owe reparations. In other words, they need to accept responsibility for something they did.
Not a chance.
And for those of you thinking, I took A-level history and I never learned any of this in school.
First of all, because there is so much historical amnesia about what the empire really entailed. The fact that you don't really teach colonial history in your schools. Children doing A-levels in history don't learn a line of colonial history. There's no real awareness of the atrocities, the fact that Britain financed its industrial revolution and its prosperity from the depredations of empire, the fact that Britain came to one of the richest countries in the world in the early 18th century and reduced it after 200 years of plunder to one of the poorest.
Now, to be fair and true, there was pockets of good from the British Empire.
In the 19th century, the Royal Navy set up a force to wipe out the slave trade.
After the abolition of slavery in the British Empire in 1807, the West Africa Squadron was formed. The squadron's goal was to patrol the African coast and intercept or seize any vessel that was slaving. In a campaign that was to last over 50 years, the squadron almost entirely wiped out the slave trade on the African coast. The mere threat of the mighty Royal Navy was often used to get African chiefs to abolish slavery in their realms. One commander of note was Joseph Denman. He led a highly aggressive action against the slavers, burning their factories and freeing hundreds of slaves. Zeal often caused diplomatic incidents, but he was praised by Lord Palmerston, who said taking a wasp's nest is more effective than catching the wasps one by one. In all, 150,000 slaves were freed and 1,600 ships seized. The naval and political supremacy of the British Empire was key to success. This has been described as the most costly moral action in modern history.
That's amazing. They freed 150,000 slaves. That is worth respecting. And yes, in the 1800s, after slavery was banned, Britain did take over 1.6 million Indians as indentured workers for their colonies, essentially replacing long-term slaves with short-term slaves.
After slavery was abolished, Britain replaced its enslaved workers with a cheap alternative: indentured servants. In this new system, millions of people were coerced into signing away their rights for 5 to 10 years at a time. This system is not ancient history. Some of its survivors could still be alive.
गिरमिट कमाई है, बहुत दुख तकलीफ काटे के पड़ा। अरे हम गोरा लोग लाश से मारे इसे। अच्छा। हाँ। गोरा लोग लाश से मारे काम नहीं करो चाबुक लगावे गाड़ी पर।
But still, they did free 150,000 slaves, and might have replaced them with 1.6 million short-term indentured servants. But freeing those 150,000 slaves was genuinely a good part of the British Empire. And jokes aside, there are many other examples of moral good coming from the British Empire. The YouTube channel History Revealed has quite a lot of good videos on that for those of you interested. Now, moving back to Britain's brutal rule over India, William Durant, an American historian and philosopher, best known for his 11-volume series, The Story of Civilization, which contains and details the history of Eastern and Western civilization, wrote something quite profound about India on the 1st of October, 1930.
I went to India to help myself visualize a people whose cultural history I had been studying for the story of civilization. But I saw such things in India as made me feel that study and writing were frivolous things in the presence of a people, 1/5 of the human race, suffering poverty and oppression bitterer than any to be found elsewhere on the earth. I was horrified. I had not thought it possible that any government could allow its subjects to sink to such misery. And the more I read, the more I was filled with astonishment and indignation at the apparently conscious and deliberate bleeding of India by England throughout 150 years. I began to feel that I had come upon the greatest crime in all history.
Coming from a man who spent 40 years studying civilizations around the world and all their atrocities and hardships, for him to say that what England did to India was the greatest crime in all history really adds to the solemnity of that statement. But my point is, do you think the descendants of people capable of this much conquest from a tiny island will more likely be kind, gentle, considerate, and peaceful people, or they are more likely to be violent, manipulative, greedy, and vicious people? This leads into why I believe English people are like this. It's genetic. Just like how selective breeding of an animal can produce a breed that amplifies certain qualities, I believe the 414 years of British imperialist colonialist conquest from 1583 to 1997 was inadvertently selectively breeding a brute force public, likely to be vicious, cruel, and disregard others. Let me explain. Suppose you were a general and you had to choose between two people to head a new colony on a distant island. One is kind, respectful to local cultures, and compassionate. They make an effort to negotiate and make compromises with local leaders to ensure the goodwill and cooperation of the natives. And they're not unnecessarily destructive or cruel. And the other guy is this dude.
To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Who are you going to pick? Obviously, the violent, ruthless guy, because you're trying to build an empire. So naturally, you're going to want the general public, who will fill your military, to be the most ruthless, violent people possible, for the sake of the empire. And then suddenly, after 4 centuries and 62 independence days later, you're left with a population descended from generations of this conditioning. What would that do to the public? What are you looking at? I didn't even do nothing. What, you want to have a fight or something? Do ya? The power of genetics. And I personally think many English people would welcome my conclusion, since it allows them to do their favourite thing of all time. Avoid responsibility. I can't help it, it's my genetics, but innit? Now, love him or hate him, Andrew Tate made this exact argument years ago about the English.
The English people are the most violent people in the world. Like, they conquered the entire earth. They had the largest empire in history. English people are innately violent. People think like England, oh yeah, everyone's in suits, little gentlemen, go to England, right? London's like stabbing capital of the world. Like, it's a very violent place, and the English people will fight you over nothing. They're not friendly or polite. They're very violent, especially when they're drinking. I'm at a club. I bought a brand new phone. Some girl knocked the phone out of my hand. I tapped on her shoulder and said, hey, you knocked my phone out of my hand. She turns around and goes, I don't care. It's not my phone. So running her mouth. So I'm arguing with this girl, and then her boyfriend comes over. And then her boyfriend's like, hey, what's the problem? I was like, well, she knocked my phone out of my hand. I was trying to tell her, hey, you have a problem. Then his two friends come over. So now there's three of them, and I'm up against the bar. And then one of them pushes me, so I smack it. Right? So I smack one, smack the other one. Two are out. The other guy grabs me. We start wrestling a bit. And while I'm wrestling with one of the guys, the girl, because she's English, starts trying to hit me. Right? So I didn't know if it was a girl or a guy.
Because she's English. To me, that's the most significant takeaway from that entire clip. You think the chances that girl would start throwing punches would be greater or lesser if she was a New Zealander or Canadian or Japanese or German or Swedish? Much less. But because she's English, she's violent. I've noticed this about them between 2020 and 2024. But this is my granddad, and he was an accountant that worked with the British during their occupation of Egypt. He worked with them in Egypt and told my dad, who told me, about what he'd learned about them. His wisdom was, Il Ingelese de Mohammed, roughly translates as, the blood of the English is without empathy. Essentially, my granddad described the English during their time in Egypt as being aggressive, inconsiderate, greedy, intolerant, manipulative people desperate to siphon the blessings of Egypt for themselves. Palpable. So heed my warning, they're not peaceful.
These are not men like us. But strange beasts with bodies that shine like the sun, and weapons that spout fire and thunder. They prowl the earth like ravenous wolves, consuming everything in their path.
Essentially, in practice, I believe that Japanese people are genetically more likely to be polite, that Germans are genetically more likely to over-engineer, that the Swiss are genetically more likely to be punctual, that the French are genetically more likely to be arrogant, and that English people are genetically more likely to be violent, dishonest, and rude. And this is the unavoidable conclusion when all the behavior problems I encountered teaching in England ceased to exist the second I left England. Only 2 out of the 7 schools I have worked at had relentless behavior issues, pathological lying in every lesson, chronic littering, stealing, and entitlement from their students. And surprise, it was the English schools. And even abroad, the worst students I taught in Australia and Abu Dhabi were the few English kids I had. And this pattern is true in reverse. I've had classes in Essex and Kent where the whole class is a nightmare, except for the 2 Syrian girls, or the Turkish, or the Austrian, or the Polish, or the German kid I had. What other conclusions could I reach? The pattern recognition is unavoidable. The behavior problems seem to be tied exclusively, in my experience, to being British. For comparison's sake, in my most recent school, they used to give me boxes of 50 pens whenever the kids would need one. But because the kids steal them so much and can't hold on to anything to save their lives, the school had to replenish them constantly. In the 2022 to 2023 academic year, I went through 5 boxes of pens because they kept getting stolen. They literally stole over 250 pens and lied every time I confronted them. But compare the 250 plus pens stolen from me in 1 year in England with New Zealand. There, they gave me 3 pens at the start of 2019, in case students needed them. And by the end of the year, I still had those same 3 pens. And I've still got one. What is the difference between the two? Is it the socioeconomic status of the area? Is it the climate? Is it special needs? Is it just teenage antics? Or could it be genetic? Cats constantly want to invade your personal space. Nando has been on my lap for most of this video. But this isn't learned behavior. It's in his genetics. He's wired that way. Likewise, the reprehensible tendencies of English people must be, I believe, a genetic trait. The fact that primary school age kids, seemingly independent of outside influence, naturally act so aggressively and disruptively at such a young age shows that these qualities are, at least in part, inherent in English people.
Nationally, we're seeing far more highly disruptive behaviour in younger children.
97% of primary school teachers say they have disruptive children in their class.
It's a full day a week that's missing out of teaching time because those children are demanding so much teacher attention in the classroom.
97%. And they're showing you examples of what they mean by disruptive. It's violent, aggressive, and rude behaviour that I now associate exclusively with English people.
Teachers today, they're just not fair. They think themselves as big bosses, but they're not really. All they do is educate us and that we listen and that's it.
Boys aged 12 and under are almost 6 times more likely than girls to be kicked out of school.
Leave me alone!
90% of male young offenders were excluded from school themselves.
I'm a problem child. I have problems behaving. Is there a part of that you don't understand?
Their parents will also be back in the classroom, forced to confront their son's behaviour.
Do you think it was appropriate to tell a member of staff you wanted to smash our face in?
And face up to their own shortcomings.
I'm admitting to the world here that I'm Mum. How do you think that makes me feel?
That clip I just showed you needs some context. It's from a show called Mr. Drew's School for Boys. These are kids that were kicked out of mainstream schools for being too disruptive. But don't be fooled. There will be plenty of them in your classroom if you decide to destroy your well-being and teach English people. There is something different about them, and I'm convinced it's a genetic problem. Because the way my granddad described the English in the first half of the last century is the same way that I described them in the first half of this century. So you can't blame Brexit, COVID, the internet, the radio, TV, or even the telegram as to why they are the way they are. Some blame immigration, and they may have a point.
Oh, you know, don't you? Yeah. Oh, look at him, yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Oh my days. Let's do that again. Right there. These immigrants come to this great country and think they can do whatever the hell they bloomin' like and get away with it. Disgraceful.
And if we go to the most dangerous place in Britain, Cleveland, we see the devastating impact of immigration on Britain.
How bad's crime in the area?
It's really bad, mate. I need to walk about with one of these, man, look. That's what you need to walk about with to keep yourself safe, man.
Come round and stab me, stab me, stab me. And then I thought, oh no.
Police!
Rates across Middlesbrough, Hartlepool, Stockton and Redcar are the highest of anywhere in the country, and with violent offences the biggest contributor, it's the most dangerous place in Britain.
This is Great Britain. Great Britain. It's not a great.
See that? Oh my days. He comes to this country, we let him set up his little phone shop, and then he starts mouthing the country. Ungrateful sod. Great Britain not great anymore. What a disgrace. This proves that immigration is the cause of the dereliction of our once healthy society, don't it? If he don't like it, then he can just go bugger off back to his own country, couldn't he?
Is that your bike?
Huh?
Is that your bike?
Oh my word, did you see that? These immigrants come to this country and think they can just take photos of us English folk and post it online, like we don't have rights or something. Outrageous.
Jokes aside, people genuinely attribute the dereliction of English society to immigration.
It's wonderful that you can still go to parts of the country where you can trust that I can leave all of these snacks, this drinks, this water, and people won't nick it. People will...
People will pay the money and actually take the product and won't have to patrol them.
And nobody has to be there to enforce it. Everybody knows the rules and everybody sticks to those rules because the English have...
Go back, John, go back. So this is why we must stop migration, right? Because
this actually...
Mary has an article called the Death of the Honesty Box that talks about mass migration and how it can't...
Anyone from any other country would just arrive here and be like...
Nick it.
Yeah.
Only about 6.7 of my entire life has been spent teaching English people in public schools. And I have literally seen more theft and dishonesty in that 6.7% than the other 93.3%. I've seen more fights, more intolerance, more racism, more stupidity, more complacency, and more tantrums in that 6.7%. But apparently, I'm the problem because I immigrated here. But you know what? Let's have a look at who's stealing from honesty boxes by Googling stealing from honesty boxes UK court CCTV and seeing who it shows. They could be right. It might be completely void of white English people, hurling the blame entirely on migrant shoulders. Let's have a gander, shall we? Honesty box theft in Winsham. Stall owner's honesty box raid dismay. 56-year-old Timothy Young has been charged with theft from a shop after allegedly stealing from the Little Cowshed in Haven Street. Police appeal to track down man caught on CCTV stealing 15 charity boxes from local shops. CCTV captures thief stealing egg honesty box from cow's milk. Woman took £100 worth of treats from Penlyn Road huts and left few coins in honesty box. Teenagers steal money from honesty box belonging to elderly egg seller. Suspects sought in children's toy store honesty box theft. Video shows callous thief stealing from farm's milkshake honesty box. Shocking moment, a couple in a BMW convertible steal a farm's honesty box and block the CCTV camera with a huge stack of potatoes. Croy man admits stealing cash from honesty box for his cats. Moment thief was caught on camera stealing village honesty box to pay for homegrown fruit and veg. How could she? Sickening moment, vile thief caught stealing cash from honesty box raising funds for special needs school. Brazen thief uses screwdriver to crack open honesty box at Friesenberg farm shop. Jersey farmer forced to close honesty box after growing number of thefts.
You have to see it to believe it. A man caught on CCTV filling bags with local produce that he hasn't paid anywhere near enough for.
Well, what do we have here? See that? Immigrants stealing from honesty boxes. How disgraceful. You won't see us good English folk doing that sort of rubbish, will ya?
And brazen thief licks the lot from honesty box on West Ashton Road in Trowbridge.
Bloomin' migrants. Think they can come to this country and steal from our honesty boxes, do they? Outrageous. They need to be more honest and trustworthy, like us decent English folk.
So, without cherry picking, you've seen what I've Googled. Do it yourself. I've found one black or brown thief with what looks like a white driver, and a brown guy who puts money in the box, but not nearly enough for what he took, stealing about £70 worth of produce over 2 weeks. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but most of the people stealing from honesty boxes was committed by what looks like white British people. Do you think maybe Britons steal from honesty boxes because they're the most dishonest people in the world? Or is it still migration? Anyway, since the examples I'm showcasing in this second reason are virtually all white British people, you can't blame immigration. Now, if, in some alternate reality,